Now I'm going to kind of bring it back, and we're going to talk about the sexual keys on the impact point matrix and how we can kind of put this all together. Okay, so inside, see, we talked about, so we're over here at this alpha inhibitor. Now, alpha inhibitors, by the way, if you're not familiar with those are what block our sexual functioning. Okay, that's why they're on the outside of the triangle. There should be a flow going on here, and these things block that flow. And these are all the different things, these core alpha inhibitors, all the things that will block your erections or your lasting power in the bedroom, your sexual functioning in general. So that's what we're talking about with performance anxiety. It's this core alpha inhibitor. Now, inside the bedroom, okay, this is where these sexual keys become very important. And once again, performance anxiety doesn't happen when you sleep. Okay, it happens when you're in the bedroom. It's an in the bedroom thing. That's when the mind and emotions get involved. Okay, so what I want you to look at here, there's 3 sexual keys. Okay, and once again, these apply to men and women. Relaxation in the body, arousal in the mind, and immersion with the emotions. And we're going to focus primarily on these bottom 2. These are the most important. That's why they're in the bottom. Okay, this is the foundation here. The reason relaxation's on the bottom left is because it's a cornerstone. Okay, it is essential. Once again, this is the difference between being fight or flight or being in the parasympathetic. Relaxation would be the parasympathetic. It's not sufficient in and of itself. You still need arousal. You know, there's pleasure too, but it's these things down here. You still need this, but nothing really happens without the relaxation. And this is the big problem when it comes to performance anxiety. So let's talk about this and how, especially this is very typical, and it's the fight or flight system that sort of puts us into this mindset because we want out of it, right? We're afraid of losing our erection. So once again, the difference is, what we do in Rock Hard for Life is we do focus on getting the erections like rock solid outside the bedroom. We focus on erections. But inside the bedroom, focusing on your erections goes out the window. You don't want to focus on your erections at all inside the bedroom. All that work was done on the outside. On the inside, you don't want to do that because when you're focused on your erections, you are doing a couple different things. One of which is you're going out of relaxation, right? You're focused on your erections and you're thinking things like, holy shit, I hope I get an erection. Or now that I got this erection, I can't lose it. Or, I can't come too quickly. I got to hold on. Those type of things. You're focused on the erection. You're focused on your performance. And that takes you out of relaxation. Okay, that's the first reason that it is counterproductive. Very counterproductive. But there's other reasons. One of which is when you focus on things like that, the subconscious is what controls erections, not your conscious mind. And the subconscious mind does not understand negatives very well. It doesn't understand can't or not or don't. It doesn't understand that too well. So when you think to yourself, I can't lose this erection, the only thing it hears is lose this erection, right? It doesn't hear the can't. So that is counterproductive in and of itself. Another thing is you've got that in your focus. And this is the real problem here. I'm going to dive into focus because focus isn't really the issue. You're focused on your erections. And not only you're focused on your erections, you're focused on what I call fighting the darkness. So let's use that maintaining the erection thing again, because a lot of guys have an issue with this. I can't lose this erection. So what you're doing there is you got this image of you losing your erection in your mind, and you're trying to fight it. I can't lose my erection. Can't lose my erection. That's called fighting the darkness. Okay, and it never works. You can't fight the darkness. It doesn't get rid of the darkness. Okay, in fact, it makes it more likely that's going to happen. And let me give you a story about that to kind of illustrate this. When the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles did this study because they were getting in all these statistics that made no sense. Basically, people running into telephone poles who lost control over their vehicles, who ran into telephone poles. There's way more people running into telephone poles than should be statistically possible. They're like, something's wrong here. We're either not collecting the data correctly. There's something wrong in our systems, but we need to understand what's going on because there's way more space between telephone poles than there are telephone poles. So there's no way statistically this should be happening. So we need to figure out what's going on. So they did all this study. What they ended up finding was they interviewed the people that survived those crashes. And what they found was that when they lost control of their vehicle, what was going through their mind is, whatever I do, I can't hit that telephone pole. Okay, and that's exactly what ended up happening because that's what was in their focus. What they were trying to avoid was in their focus, and what's in their focus is what happened, what they were drawn to do. Now, if they would have thought something like, I've got to aim for that empty space between those telephone poles, it probably would have been a whole different outcome, right? But it shows you, that study there, it just shows you how powerful that whatever you're focused on, even if it's something you don't want to happen, is what is likely going to happen. Okay? So it's counterproductive in that sense too. But here's the other thing that really kind of the most important part of all of that is erections are a consequence. Okay, you can't will yourself to have an erection. It's a consequence of primarily, it's not the only two factors, but primarily being relaxed and being aroused. Okay, so the trick here is to shift your focus entirely. Okay, that's why I'm saying when you're in the bedroom, you don't want to focus on your erections at all. You want to focus on what's turning you on, or what does turn you on, arousal. Okay, because that is what starts getting you turned on, and starting the erections to happen, right? But what will happen to some guys, especially if they've had performance anxiety for a long time, is that will start to happen, right? They'll start to relax, they'll start to get the erection, and then they'll get excited and they'll focus back on the erection and it goes away, and then they get frustrated, right? Once again, shifting that focus to their erection, totally counterproductive. Keep your focus on what turns you on and what gives you pleasure, okay? And as a natural consequence, as long as you're relaxed, that's more than likely the erection's going to come, or the erection's going to maintain, all right? I hope that makes sense. I could talk about this for a long time. There's a lot of interesting psychological things that happen here. But those are the basic things that I want you to get in your mind, is it really is a question of focus. And what will help you tremendously, first of all, is really knowing what turns you on. A lot of guys I talk to, they don't even know. They don't even know what turns them on. And it can be a real struggle. It's like there's a block. It doesn't come to them. Or they're so focused on their partner's pleasure that they don't spend any time here. Okay, and then they wonder why they're not getting an erection. You combine the two. You combine the focus of their pleasure with your pleasure. You got to know, but in order to do that, you got to know what turns you on. It's so important to know this, because otherwise it's much more difficult to make this happen, right? But once you do, and once you actually go for those things instead of repress them, it does wondrous things for your erections and maintaining those erections in the bedroom. To kind of keep this simple for you, if this is a big problem for you, I mean, we have all kinds of techniques in order to overcome this thing.
When it comes to getting throbbing, stage 4, rock hard on command, and lasting as long as you want in the bedroom, both permanently and naturally at any age, the first step is understanding exactly what is going on under the hood of your manhood. Because if a man doesn't understand the basic mechanics of how his manhood works, how can he expect anything he tries to work? He just ends up throwing punches in the dark and then is frustrated when everything he tries stops working and makes his hardness and lasting power worse over time, conveniently leading him to more and more extreme treatments that further destroy his manhood and his ability to perform in the bedroom. So if this is a priority for you and you would like to finally get off of Big Pharma's hamster wheel, keeping you trapped, broken, and desperate, then you're going to want to set aside about 75 minutes to watch this free training I made just for you that's going to allow you to finally understand the ecosystem behind your manhood and bedroom performance. Like fixing a leaky pipe, you can't just drywall over it or you'll end up with a house full of black mold. You have to fix the source of the leaky pipe if you want permanent results that will last a lifetime. So I put a link in the description to claim a 24-hour access pass to my new masterclass that will take you by the hand and show you exactly what's going on under the hood. So you can finally understand exactly what methodologies, frameworks, and systems that our guys are using right now to conquer their bedroom performance permanently and naturally at any age. So go ahead and click the link in the description and I'll see you inside the masterclass. Xander Holt, signing off.